I'd like to present just shortly the program that started 2 years ago, but I was thinking that maybe you would be more interested about the tips and the problem we went through. What was interesting and helped us a lot was I knew the French and European system. I tried to explain the French system to my Canadian colleagues, which was not very easy because I had to explain them that you must contact the university, but also the CNRS. But CNRS has not the money, but they have the political power, but you have to contact the region and be in touch with the ministry. And they say, yes, okay, what can we do? So, our program is part of the Erasmus Mundus 2. Erasmus Mundus is for student training. And the 2 is mean that now third countries are allowed to get European money and to be fully part of it. So just a short overview of this program. This is devoted to developments, and this is devoted to student. Erasmus Mundus programs are student-oriented, and it's about training, professional training through research. So it's not about research, it's about how you can build up a training program for students. And what we have is that we offer scholarships through European grants, but also from putting into other scholarships. And we provide training. That means it's not only a PhD program, but it's a way to have students coming from many countries worldwide, and to train them to be, in order to have them being prepared for their professional job, mostly in industry. So we train them through this research, and we provide an additional extra skills training and additional, of course, international training. In most projects, we require that an industry partner is also involved. So usually when you have to involve industry partners, they run away because they know that you will ask for money. So we don't ask for money. We just ask them to provide the advice to the students and to have the students putting his feet a little bit in the real life. If the industry wants to be more involved, like hosting the student for a while, providing in kind, providing maybe additional money, that's great. But from the beginning, we don't have that. So it's a way to attract companies and to have them be involved in the program. The PhD candidates, they must spend at least 6 months in each universities. So they have 2 universities, they have 2 course supervisors, and of course, you have to fit with the specific requirements of each university. For instance, University of Waterloo and has any other university, it will be required that the student will spend a minimum of terms to be eligible as a local student. And we use it as a platform where the networking, where the connection with the consortium agreement had been written, and they are running now. So we try to attract resources from other sources in a way into this program. And usually when you apply to international programs, when you apply to Canadian funding, it's always good to demonstrate that you can have an international side to your project because you have it ready. And all the legal issues have been dealt with. You have the consortium agreements, etc., etc. So it's really a way to create a structure and to use this structure for further fundings and further research programs. These are the partners. So there are 9 partners, 4 from France, 2 from Belgium, 1 from Germany and 1 from Portugal, and 1 from Canada, University of Waterloo. Right now at the University of Waterloo, we have the chemistry, chem-eng, ECE and Mech-Eng departments that are involved. That means some professors have students and will have students in the future within this program. And something that I have to explain to my colleagues, European colleagues and French colleagues, is that each department has its own rules regarding the comprehensive exam, the way it works. So we have to deal with every department when we have another department being involved, which is different in France, because in France you deal with the university. So the program started in 2010, and we had the first groups of 20 PhD students. There are 12 European grants, so the other grants, scholarships are from other sources. And now in 2011, we have an additional 20 PhD students. So what we have now is a group of 40 PhD students. Next fall we'll have 60, and one of the goals and what we claim is that these students coming from everywhere, because if you deal with the European funding you have to respect some criteria. They are coming from everywhere. They will meet in some specific summer schools or spring schools with a training. So you provide them with a huge address book, which is very important. Each student has two co-supervisors from two universities, from two different countries, and one industrial sponsor, no financing required. And the way we work is that each student will get a double degree. It's quite tricky to come with a common degree. I will give you an example regarding when we have to deal with the European experts. And so for now, they get double degrees. They will. And of course, we have the program over at the top, but after once the students have been selected, they have to be agreed by the university. So we do not develop something in parallel with the university rules. We just pre-select the students, and the university will check afterward that the student has the English skills, has the correct background, etc. So we are working with the university, not against it. That's important. And because of the specific rules from the different departments, we have a general consortium agreement that was signed by all partners, went through all the universities, and after we develop a working contract for students. Europe doesn't want to see students. Don't ask me why. They want to see professional. So you don't have a student scholarship, you have a working contract. Which means that you have to, mostly for the European part, you have to take out the taxes from the gross salary. And we had this small problem at the beginning because the original funding allocated to each student is quite high. It's $3,000 euros per month, which when you convert in Canadian dollars, it's quite good. But we forgot to specify that part of it will go to the professional taxes. So after that, they have quite a nice scholarship, but not as high they were expected initially. Now, I'd like just to introduce some problems we had to go through, and just to give you maybe some tips from my own experience. So as I said, I was lucky because I'm French. I know the French system for many years. I have a good connection in the domain of chemistry and material chemistry in France. And I know, because I have been involved in European programs, I know how the European programs are running. So I was in a good position to explain to my colleagues at the university what it was about. So I tried to list some tips, and the first one is if you want to be involved in European programs, first find a good partner. Find a lab, find a university where people have a strong background in European programs. They have been the fifth program, I would say for the last 15 years, the fifth program, the sixth program, now they are in the seventh program. Europe has created what they call the Network of Excellence. This program finished a couple of years ago, and you have the Marie Curie Scholarship, you have the creation of the European Virtual Institute, it's kind of network of institutes, you have the Euromasters programs, you have all these programs. It's very important that you find the guys who know how it works. You have to find the guys who are really every maybe 2 weeks or every month in Brussels, who get the connection, who knows what will be the next program, etc. So if you want to build up this type of partnership, try to identify in your domain what could be the best partner and people who have a strong expertise. So you can check the Network of Excellence, the institutes, and you will find who are the big guys in the game. It means that if you want to apply to a program, it's too late when the program is launched. You have to proceed in advance. You must identify the partners before, you must identify the network through your partner in Europe before. And building a partnership, it's a long story. So that means that you need to have quite a clear view already and being prepared when the proposal for programs will be ready. Define the strategy. I think that's very important. That means this is being involved in European programs, being involved with European partners. It creates something that is very positive. That means instead to have to waste your energy to find one partner, you will be involved in the whole network, a whole consortium. So now you are not dealing with one university, but as you see in our program, with 8 universities. So that means you can be very efficient after that. But of course, it's something that it's a long story, so you must begin with your own strategy, what you want to develop. What are the specific skills of your department, your universities? Where do you want to be involved? What are your strategic areas? If you look at our program on Erasmus Mundus 2, so basically we claim ourselves as the first and only international doctoral school in material science. So if you want to be involved in this program, you know there's one competitor who is running for 2 years now. So should you try to create something parallel? Should you try to see how you can become partner? Or do you want to define another strategy and another research area? What do you need? That's important. Why are you looking for partnership? You are looking for partnership as we did because we want money. And we want international recognition. This is what we want at Waterloo. Now, what do we provide? We provide, compare with, I would say, most of our European colleagues, we provide a cross connection with economy, we provide a good engineering background, and this is what makes us strong. This is the fourth topic. It's about be prepared for networking. That's something very important, and because it illustrates one of the differences that I noticed personally between the European system and I would say the North American system. Most of the European programs are not focused specifically on the scientific area, but they are focused on networking. A key word in Europe for years and years, it's integration. That you have experts in different places, in different countries. They want to come with a critical mass of these experts. So for instance, the network of excellence were just about networking. How can you develop tools that will help people to collaborate and work together? And this is one of the major points when you want to be involved in European programs, is that you have to be ready for networking. So that has to be a part of your strategy. If you don't want that, because you say, I don't want to waste time about it, you have to decide whether it's better or not to be involved. I was involved in technical programs on CO2 capture by membrane process. We were 26 partners, really technological programs. And we had meetings every 6 months in different places, in different countries. So this is why people think that the European programs are mostly supported by aircraft companies and hotels. Because basically, you will spend a lot of money in traveling. And you could say that I wish I could use this money for research. And you still, part of your strategy, your program will include more than one partner. It's not a one-to-one program. So you have to think from your side, maybe it's good also to find another Canadian partner. So that will depend on the type of programs you're applying to, but you have to do your homework. That means the partners in Europe will be interested if they see that you understand them and you did your part and you come with something that will really boost the proposal. So if you identify that in your area there are maybe 2 strong places in Canada, instead to compete and to fight, maybe it's better to try to get an agreement and come as a pair to try to find the correct network. Oh, if you like the CFI application, you will love the European application. Our proposal is 250 pages. Yes. And most of them are just to list the skills, the number of PhD for every partners, etc., etc. So you will see if you find a good partner, if this partner tells you that, oh, I have a company that helps me to prepare the programs. Usually they have some companies doing the paperwork, collecting the data, being able to build up everything. So that's very important. And now, this is what Europe loves. Work packages, task deliverable milestones. If you're familiar with that, it's perfect. If you're not, I can explain. Everyone is totally aware of that. Yes? No? No? Okay. This is based on the kind of quality process. That means that you have to describe, of course, what you want to do. For instance, the Erasmus Mundus II programs we're involved in, it's about the student training. So we have to develop different topics for student training. It's not about research. It's about student training, student hiring, communication, e-learning tools, etc., etc., integration, agreements, etc. So instead of saying, okay, we will do this, we will do that, etc., and after we will do it, what they love at Bruxelles is we have 5 work packages. A work package, it's kind of model, and in this model, you will have several tasks. And the task will lead you to deliverable. Deliverable can be document, can be degrees, can be a summer school, can be etc. And now they can see that you have specific milestones that will be, okay, we should reach this point after 1 year, etc., etc. For instance, in our PhD program, the way we describe it is, of course, over the 3-4 years, different tasks. That means the comprehensive exam, for instance, is one task. So it's one of the deliverables that leads to a deliverable that can be just a research proposal or a formal exam. So that's something that's look at. It's not very difficult. It's quite interesting to deal with that, and you can put them in Gantt chart. So it looks very professional. They love that. Create a management team and get positive support from your administration. We were very lucky at Waterloo that when we started to work on the on this graduate program, PhD program, the people from the graduate studies office were really positive, really proactive, and any problem we put on the table, they say, oh, that's a problem, but we can fix it. And that means that you have to come with the support. You must involve the people from the beginning and try to find the good partners. This is a teamwork. If you don't find a team, you're lost. So that's something important. And be prepared to face the European administration. That's the best. I love this one. I will tell you one example, or two examples. So the European Union has some experts. So they usually what they do, they travel all year long from countries to country to attend your meetings. And the first one was we had the kickoff meeting for this program, and the guy came and said, "Oh, rules have changed. The students must spend their times in 2 countries, but because it's mobility, if they got the degree, it's 1 country. If they do part of their thesis in this country, maybe even in another city, it doesn't count." And you just learn it at the kickoff meeting. So that's good. The second one was when we had the last meeting in Portugal last March. They come and say, okay, you are claiming that you will work toward a common degree. We have 9 partners. So you have the idea about that there's no way that we can come with a common degree. And the question was, okay, you should come with a common diploma. And we tried to explain that non-university will deliver a degree for students who never came to this university. But if they want a nice paper with a lot of colors and big characters, it's not a problem. We can provide it. And we had a lot of difficulties just to explain that a PhD diploma is not just a paper, it's a legal document. And we cannot decide because Europe who didn't manage to define a European degree, a PhD degree, that we cannot do by ourselves something, and this is something they don't understand. So usually you just stop the meeting and say, let's have a beer and forget it. So sometimes you have difficulties. This is why you need to know who are the peoples. Minds are different. That's very interesting, and I'm still doing the interface between the colleagues from the 2 sides. And this is very important because we don't notice that minds, the way we work in Europe, I would say in France because I know better the France, and in Canada are different. What I've noticed, so you could think that I'm wrong or maybe I'm right, is that when I talk with my colleagues at the university, initially it's okay, oh, this program is good, how much do I get? How many students? How many support do I get? Because they used to work on a one-to-one. I mean, you have a project, you know someone, you will build up programs, you get the funding. When it's over, your collaboration is over, and you restart something else. It's not what it's about with the way that European researchers are working now. because they have been trained for years and years to work in networks. So what you have to do is to convince your colleagues that they will spend a lot of energy, a lot of time for something that will not provide some feedback directly to them. So why they should do that? That will provide some feedback, of course, but not compare with the involvement. But now you have, let's stick still on the Erasmus Mundus programs, student-oriented program. So my key to them is, it's not about you, it's about students. It's part of a job to train students, and this is what we want to develop. But now, we have a consortium of 8 European universities, 1 Canadian universities. We know each other. We have the connections. We know the people in charge of it. So now we are in, for instance, we applied to some Canadian program, don't know if we will get the funding, but we could justify one part of the claims by just giving the example of what we are already doing. And here there are some more research-oriented programs, Canada, France, Canada, Europe, that will be launched. Now you can say, we are in good position because we are already working together. And you know that usually people will give you money to work together if you demonstrate that you're already working together. So this is a way, and this is how you can convince your colleagues about, we are building for strategy a network of very skilled partners, and with this platform we will be ready to apply for more research-oriented programs. So, and you have to explain it, and you have to realize it, and this is not obvious because usually we forget to think about it, because this is the way we work in France, this is the way we work in Canada. And be patient. It takes time. This is why you have to think about it before, I would say maybe 2 years before you can officially apply, because you must be in good position, you must have created your network and have tried to clarify everything when you will be in position to apply. And oh yeah. Oh yes. That's something very important. It's about how do you validate the diploma. I still take the example of France. It's in France, to get a diploma, we check that the students got the training, the correct training. Wherever he got it, it's not important. We just validate his background. And we can even deliver a diploma to someone who works in the companies, and we just check that he got this background. In Canada, when you take a class, you get credits. And you use these credits to pay for your diploma. So you cannot use them twice. So that means in Canada, you cannot explain people that, oh, the students took this class, so he can use the background to apply for the other diploma. It doesn't work. So that's something that is so obvious for both of us that we forget to talk about it. One good thing for the PhD programs in France, for instance, the students have to take classes, but they don't need the mark. They don't need the credits. So you can use this credit for the Canadian degree, etc. Something I forgot to mention here, but this is very important. You know that studies in France are free. I'm kidding. No, they have the same price as in Canada. The only difference is people pay taxes to support this. The students don't pay directly. But now, French students, they complain if you increase the student fees by $50 a year. They will go on strike for that. And how can you explain them that they will have maybe to pay $2,000 for one term? European programs has Erasmus Mundus programs specify that the student has no money to pay for the student tuition fees. So you must find ways to get the money from somewhere. And this is really important because we don't deal with the student fees the same way in France and Europe and in Canada. So that's very important. I forgot to mention it, but it's really part of the difference in systems. Our interactions, that's something also that I discovered. And I think that's my last tip. I arrived in September 2006 at Waterloo, and a couple of months after I had a meeting with big guys from the university to talk about potential partnership with France, with Europe, etc. And they told me, you know, you should contact this guy, he could help you. And I told them, okay, who can contact his boss to know if his boss will allow him to work with me? And they look at me like I was coming from the planet Mars, and they say, I think the best thing to do is just to push his door and ask him. So in Canada, usually the partnership will begin with the researchers. They want to do something together. And when they agree about it, they will climb the stairs to the department, faculty, university. In France, it doesn't work. You have to work to the big guys from the beginning. And the big guys, if they say yes, they say, okay, we should find someone who you could deal with. So the system works differently, and you have to be aware of, and of course try to find the fit, because once people are involved, this is not the type of problems. But when I was contacted by some colleagues from France for other programs on networking, and they wanted to come and see the dean, they wanted to see the department head, etc. I told them, no, you must find the professor. You must find the guy who will be interested with your project, and from then, now you can apply and you can work on. Oh yes. So just to make the long story short, some tips from my personal experience. Define first your strategy. So it can be for your department, for your faculty, for the university. That's important. So you can think about it, you can work on it, and come with a clear view. Why do you want to collaborate with European universities? Identify your future partner. That will be really the main partner, the coordinator of the European program. And of course, we are pushing for French partners for two reasons, at least two reasons. The first is, you know, that the French science is excellent, because you pay people just to do the research, as I did for 18 years, no teaching at all. So we have a lot of time to do research. And secondly, it's so nice to have meeting in France. Good food, good wine. So, and you have to look at it as a front door to Europe. You must find a partner, a good partner, but it's not a one-to-one. It's really, this partner has already network, and it's a way for you to save energy and time because you will be involved in a whole network. So be prepared for networking. It's part of your job, it's part of your strategy. If it's not, forget about it. Be proactive. Create a team. Find the people who have a true experience of research in Europe. That means it's not people who came 20 years ago from France because they have no experience. But you could have people who came and they know how it works. They have an address book, and maybe they just want to forget everything about France, but if they don't, they can be very helpful. And have your university being supportive. It goes with the team. That means because you will be involved in the big stuff, once you have your research or student training strategy defined, you must involve the university because they have no clue about the amount of work that will be required. I thank you for your attention, and I try to answer to any question, most of the question if I can. Thank you.